Hello colleagues! Welcome to our Engage Educate Conference 2022. If we haven't met yet, my name is Darina Taryanik and I am a learning partner. Firstly, I would like to ask you to write in our chat, can you hear and can you see me well? It will be very useful for me. So please, you can just leave a plus sign in our chat and I will see it. Oh, great. Thank you, Jana. Yes, we hear you. And I hope that you see me. Yes, I see. Thank you. Thank you very much, colleagues. So I'm very happy to be here. And I'm very excited to know what are your mood today? Maybe what are your expectations from our conference today? What you would like to get out of today's event? Or maybe you are looking forward to hearing the names of our Engage Educate Award winners. So it's already great. So please, just share your thoughts, any ideas. I guess it would be very inspiring for us and other participants in our chat as well. So we are waiting for your thoughts, for your expectations. Oh, thank you. I see, Jana, that you are really excited about our today's event, as I am, to speak honestly. Marzena has very positive mood. It's great. And Dira has inspiration. It's like one of my favorite words if we are talking about learning and development. Inspiration is so important. Christina waiting for the winners. Yes, it's very important things as well. I'm waiting for the winners as well. Dominika, maybe some new ideas or directions. Definitely we will have a lot new insights today from our speakers. Anticipate the sessions. Oh, Marichka, thank you. Happy to be here with you. I'm very happy to be here with your colleagues today as well. So awesome, great. Great that you have very good mood. And I see that you have some mood for inspiration, for new insights and ideas. And this year has shown that we are incredibly brave. And I get that we can't stop from learning and we would like to learn something new, doesn't matter what. And today, a few hours, we will meet with different speakers who will share with us their interesting experiences and ideas. And today we will share best practices about learning in today's environment. And of course, we find out who our Engage Educate Award winners are in 2022. So today I'm very happy to have in our studio with me Alina Datsev, our Vice President of Learning and Development. Alina, hi, how are you?
Hi Darina, good. It's nice to see you and it's great to be in this studio.
Thank you. And question that was for our participants as well, how is your mood today? What do you expect?
My mood is really very positive, with expectations, something cool, anticipating something cool, something inspirational, and really just spending time with great people together. Yes. I like this, our Engage Educate conferences. This is great tradition for us, and actually I'm very excited to be here today.
I see.
Great. So thanks a lot guys for inviting me to be today with you. As I already mentioned, this conference, this event, it has become really great tradition for us, for SoftServe University, for all our educational contributors who cooperate with us to ensure that learning function in our company works well, that people can teach others, that people can learn from others. Thank you a lot. And as Darina mentioned, the year is 2022. It turns out to be really difficult challenging, but at the same time, we as a company accepting all those challenges and transforming all the time and actually stay effective and stay with good mood to accept all the challenges. I would like first of all to thank you, colleagues, those who are our trainers, mentors, coaches, contributors to creating learning content, to sharing that learning content with the colleagues, educating others. Also, I would like to say big thank you to SoftServe University team, my colleagues who are really passionate about what they do, for arranging all the sessions, introducing all the new formats, and ensuring that actually, as I already mentioned, people in our company can learn, can grow, and can accept all the challenges we have got in our new reality. This year, in 2022, SoftServe University and SoftServe has got great global award from Brandon Hall Group. We were recognized for our leadership development programs, and actually this is not the only one global award. You may remember that in previous year we got from Association for Talent Development global award for our learning ecosystem, from Brandon Hall Group for individual oriented learning, and so on. So actually, why I'm talking about that? Just for us to celebrate together that not only high scores, good feedbacks are things which we're really proud about, but also professional community on the world recognize what we do in our company for our associates and how we support our company with its growth and with its really ambitious plans. And you know, new reality has required from us lots of changes. We are living right now in really hybrid conditions, if I may say so. We have hybrid format of working. Somebody works from home, somebody from offices. We change our locations, we work remotely, we meet in offices. And at the same time, we have hybrid format of learning. And people prefer to study in different format, makes focus on different things. And actually, to be really helpful for our colleagues, for our associates, we, together with your help, should ensure all those things and great developmental environment from our colleagues. And actually we do that. And great high NPS scores and great feedbacks just prove that things. I would like to say really big thank you to you, colleagues, because in another part of the camera, like we are here in the studio, and I'm sure that trainers, mentors, coaches, and colleagues who cooperate with us, are listening to us. And I would like you to understand that actually success of the company would not be possible without your contribution. We all understand that in such difficult circumstances, only possibility and ability and capability to learn, to transform quickly, to innovate even more than we innovated before all the challenges is the key to being successful. And thank you a lot for your passion about teaching others. As I like to say, people learn from people, not from programs, not from equipment, not from other things, but people learn from people. And actually, without your time, without your efforts, without your passion, it would be not possible for us to grow as we grow, to stay as strong as we stay. So let us take those 3-4 hours we have in this conference as the time for us to learn and to just dedicate time to us. Because we usually teach others and give our energy to others, and I would like us to just take this time for us, learn something new and share your knowledge, your comments, your impressions with your colleagues. Thank you a lot, and looking forward also to the final part of our conference.
So waiting for some other comments from our colleagues after such inspiring speech.
Colleagues, that remote format, online format of conferences, it really requires from you to be active with writing comments, because this is maybe the only way for interaction and for giving your feedback and for us to feel and understand that you are together with us here. So please feel free and be really proactive with providing comments, insights, and your thoughts.
Yes, colleagues definitely hear us because we see that many thanks for you, Gala. It was really inspiring. Thank you, Galina, for inspiring speech. Yes, like these great words, inspiration. Yes, we have like the main note of our opening of this conference. Thanks, Galina, for your speech. Thank you very much, colleagues. It was really inspiring for us. So, colleagues, please don't miss the opportunity to vote for Learning Innovator 2022 because you still have it. If you haven't already done so, you will have a link in our chat where you will have some form, and of course you can leave there your vote. So please don't miss this opportunity because very soon we will hear the names of our winners and of our learning innovators as well. So, colleagues, I think you will agree with me that one of the most important questions for our SoftServe University and for our learning contributor this year is how and why study during the war. Not also as a learning partner, but also as the person who loves learning, I also tried to look for this answer to this question. And today we will have some guests who will reveal her personal experiences and her personal answers to this very important, this very crucial, I guess, question: how to study during the war? Does it make sense? How can we can do it? Yes, and which solutions now are in demand? What we can provide to study effectively for our colleagues? So our first guest in this topic will be Natalia Kuba. It's our Director of Center of Learning Excellence, and Natalia will reveal her answers to my previous questions. Hi, Natalia.
Hello, Darina. Hello, colleagues. It's a great pleasure, really, for me to join the conference today. And already continue with the question. I would say that learning in a difficult time, this is also a way for me, I would say, to show that I care. And colleagues, you have invited me to this conference. The team has organized the conference, and I do believe that this is our way to show that still we care. Because hard times, war, and really difficult situations. So we may have numerous reasons to skip the event this year. However, we consider this conference as a way to appreciate all people who contribute to the development of others in our company. So let's go ahead.
Thank you very much for this first, Natalia. You know, personally for me, I fully agree with you, but because learning for me, it's even some kind of antidepressant, yes, even not just for a learning partner, but still I love learning, and I see that we have a lot of profits from learning even in these challenging times. So let me start please from the first question, I guess very important one, yes. Does it make sense to study now when there is war in the country? How do you think?
Darina, colleagues, when Russia attacked us in February, for some time, I don't know about other people, however, I felt paralyzed. And learning is a part of my identity. I've been in learning in terms of my professional activities for many, many years. And it was not so easy to prioritize learning in the situation when your safety, your lives of your children is under attack. And I've been searching for different thoughts and opinions, and there was a thinker, philosopher and writer, Clive Staples Lewis. I do believe even if you don't recognize the name itself, however, you know Chronics of Narnia, and he is the author. And he, in the beginning of Second World War, he published an article. Actually, it was some kind of speech, learning during wartime. And he was a Christian philosopher, actually. I'm not, however, I like his idea that, first of all, there will be never perfect time to learn. So if, humanity, if we will always postpone learning, waiting for some perfect situation, some perfect environment, we will never start. and no progress will be made. Yeah. The second thing was about that learning is the same natural state of like a human being. This is a natural activity for us. This is a part of like humanity. This is a part of us of being civilized people. And I also think that if we like consider learning as an education overall, that uneducated people are some kind of reason of worse. So like we should understand our reason. And this is not the ideas that everyone should learn even during like work time. This is the idea that we should understand what we want and how to get there, what is important for us and what can we do, how we can like structure our resources and how we can set our priorities. And if learning is there, we should learn. Yeah, we should spend time on learning.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you. And Natalia, with your experience in sphere of the learning, I would like to hear maybe your thoughts, maybe some a little bit banal question, but still, why do people want to learn? And what gives them motivation to go on, yes, with this, to learn and to develop even in these challenging times?
Mhm. I would say, especially in these challenging times, yeah, there are some like they always are there. However, they are really special uh, during this time, during this like difficult times. First of all, learning. I do believe that learning is always a matter of creating a future. So you do something right now that will change like future state. You're making yourself better right now to do something better like next time, in a minute or like next year. However, you invest something right now to create like next better state, and this creates connection with the future. This means that future exists actually, and this future will need like better version of yourself actually in terms of personal and professional skill set and competencies and characteristics. Another thing is that while we learn in difficult times, yeah, so we connect. So learning, like we learn from others. Alia has mentioned this as well. So the main, like advantage of learning is that we can follow others and we create partnership, we collaborate, we connect. So we meet people with whom we feel ourselves better. Yeah. And they like if we connect on the like level of learning, we understand that they have also like same priorities. Yeah. So we already have this connection, so we can create this like instill this sense of belonging. Yeah. So investing in a future, like sense of community, a sense of belonging, definitely it makes us happier even in very hard times. Yeah. And uh, once again, we should understand like what drives us, what is our internal reason. This year we celebrate like 300 like years since Grigory Skovoroda was born, and like a great Ukrainian philosopher, and he has this idea. Very simple, however, very simple to talk about this idea. However, this idea requires like, time spent on thinking about what is really inside of your personal priorities. And he said that the like great happiness is not to achieve, not to do something. However, achieve and do something that is important for you inside of you. So definitely we should start from ourselves, yeah, and then everything will become more clearer for us personally.
Yes, yes. And Natalia, what is for educators, for example, what they can do to facilitate learning during wartime?
Uh, I suppose that uh, I actually do believe that learning based on scientific researches and like information I read and like research, we should have like certain state of mind to learn. So we should be able to like activate certain parts of our brain. Yeah, this is like always the same like process. However, like different topics and matters and everything else. However, if we are not safe, yeah, we will not be able to develop. So we can read something, we can like see some information, we can like see some data or do even something, spend some time. However, there will be no this like step further process of development. So how can we help people to learn? So we should be conscious about that like statement, that thing, that like necessity, that safety is first. I'm sorry. And like, first of all, we should care about physical and psychological safety of learners as educators. I do believe that educator is always a leader of the process of learning, not because like this is a person to say like everyone else what to do. However, this person is responsible for creating the environment for learning itself. This environment should be safe. Yeah. So first of all, we should like focus on like physical safety of our learners. If there are any like things, we should tell people that they should care about their safety first of all. Because like there might be different cases. You may expect people to have like great internet already in safe place or anything else. However, like you don't know what may people experience right now. Yeah. So we should remember that. And we should tell people that this is a rule number one. First of all, take care about your physical safety. And this is like, a rule of consensus. If someone disagrees, so we should care about his or her opinion, not like say, okay, but everyone else is okay, so like, let's go ahead. This means that we should, first of all, be concerned about people who will not be able to proceed learning if there is some risks for their lives, for their safety, for their health. So we should take care about some rules, some like tools, some functions and processes to take care about these people and let them pick up the process of learning like further or do anything else. So we should like be open about physical safety first. Next thing is about psychological safety. So we should understand that people are very sensitive right now, and like we should take care about their psychological safety on the level of inclusive collaboration, on the level of being very careful with asking some questions. These questions can be not about like someone's state. However, be very careful with our tone of voice, with how we ask, how we behave, how we involve people in cooperation, how we ask them to do something, yeah, how we see them feel like ready to do something or not ready. Another standpoint is about making it flexible and easy for them to learn. Yeah. So have a lot of alternatives how people can do their learning activities. Have like backups for our learning content. Let people learn in like their mode and actually support this flexibility and expect anyone to be mature and conscious about what they are doing. This is our like mutual responsibility. Educators are people as well, so we should care about our learners, and our learners should be able to show they are responsible for what they are doing, and that they are doing this like based on their real motivation. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your answer, Natalia. And as for education, I'm curious which learning solutions are in demand during these times?
I should say that definitely like people like group learning, yeah, because we can feel ourselves surrounded by people from whom we can learn, we can collaborate, we can like obtain many strategies and experiences. So, however, it is not always possible right now. And more flexibility is more important than like possibility to learn in a group on a like synchronized mode. So we have a lot of demand on online personalized solutions, especially solutions you can pass according to your like personal mode and like opportunities and possibilities. Another thing is that definitely we need people to support our growth, to provide feedback, to like direct us somehow. Yeah. So individual oriented learning, when people learn from more experienced colleagues, for example, mentorship, is always popular. And right now it is popular even from this like standpoint that people, even if they do some learning in their own personalized mode, they also like they expect to have connection with the expert, with a person with whom you can partner, who will support you, who will answer your questions, who will provide like your feedback and like facilitate actually the process of your development.
Yes, it's great that you mentioned mentoring because it's pretty interesting question, yeah, for us, for our colleagues, for learning contributors, maybe even for all associates. Why is mentoring so popular? Yes, why we still have this connection with other people, even this difficult time? Yes, we still continue our mentoring activities. Colleagues still are looking for new mentors, for new connections, and for knowledge from experts within our company, and it's wonderful, I guess. Okay, Natalia,
Good.
and I have some
Yeah, I would
another
say
question. Yes, yes, go ahead.
I would say that people even expect it more than ever, yeah, to have this
Yes,
like connection with others and respective format of like partnership relationship, and as a result, you will have like development. This is like the best thing you can ever have.
yes, yes, 100%. And I'm curious about one another question. What can hinder self development during these times?
I'd say that in addition to everything we have already mentioned, yeah, because this is a complex questions and things are connected, yeah. Uh, First of all, like something that looked very important and like as a plan, as a goal for you before, may look not so clear right now. So we have like different like changes on talent market in like business environment. So sometimes we should reconsider our career plans, our developmental plans. We should change our priorities. We should like search some new priority, some new way, according on how we can like realize our professional potential. So where actually to go, because something can change very dramatically. Another thing of different, I would say, like component, different side of this process. This is a thing that we should have resources actually to function, yeah, to be like sane, to be able to take care about everyone around us, you know. Uh, so when my husband joined like Ukrainian army, so I had to learn how to like I don't know how to manage my life, my two small children. Yeah, it was new experience. Yeah, and I have never expected this experience. Yeah, so and we should structure our resources. Yeah, so we should be absolutely conscious about where to put our next like amount of resources, how to manage our energy, to be able like to be alive, yeah, and like be responsible for you and everyone else you are responsible for, especially small kids, next day, not only today. And if you are able to learn 10 minutes, like during 2 days, that's okay. That's fine. There is no expectation that you should, like, throw everything away and just like take care about something like this or that. So you can do very small steps. However, just like check your resources, like be conscious and be responsible, first of all, about yourself. So, very conscious approach to new priorities. If something that was very important yesterday is still important today, or we should reconsider our developmental plans. The next thing, like no plans is actual, no plans can be executed if we don't care about our resources, about our state.
Thank you, Natalia. And you know, when you mentioned especially your personal situation, I think about this as well, that learning is one of the most important elements of adaptations to new conditions. Doesn't matter which conditions we have within our company, within our development, career, or even within our life. Yes, real life, what we have now, new conditions, and it's still important to learn in any conditions because it's a great way to adaptation. And Natalia, yes, we a little bit talked about like some advices for colleagues, for people who would like to learn but maybe they don't know from which points they can start. So maybe what specific advice you would give such colleagues who would like to learn, who would like to develop, but maybe they don't know from which point they can start. Maybe they don't know how to achieve their self-actualization, their goals. Maybe you have some special advice from you.
So I don't know if it would be special, I always see learning from the professional standpoint, and there are certain like stages, how to come up with some like need, how to transform this need in a goal, and then how to achieve this goal. However, on a personal level, you always should start with what is valuable for you, what you want, what is important for you, and then like on certain level you will see like what is needed to achieve this like important state. However, the process of understanding of what you really want can be like complicated, and what we require here is maturity, and maturity is not something that you can buy or you can like create or like take from someone. So this is a process of like living through some experiences, however, not just like obtain some experience, however, reflect on this experience each time and make some conclusions. So we may like need like certain help, for example, from coach, from our manager, maybe from HR business partner or learning partner to help us to set up our priorities in terms of further development. Yeah. However, these are only an opportunities in our company. For example, we can take care about like this by ourselves. However, it is very important to be connected with what is valuable for you. Then you will not know, don't you will never have like questions. Am I doing like something right, or should I change something? Maybe this is not my goal. So why I can't do the next step? So if you have started this like in the right way, you will go ahead, and everything will be fine. So next thing we should like understand what is really needed, and here people who are like competent in terms of like our next career aspiration can advise us. So what competencies should we develop? How can we go ahead? So, one thing is like be conscious about what are your goals, what are your life priorities, and everything else, whom you want to become when you will be adult, or something like that. And then to make it like more clear, make it not like a dream or something like that, you should like name it, You should make it a plan, like a list of goals, and these goals should be smart, So this is some exact information. So once you understand, then you should go ahead like with the exact plan, exact data, exact goals, achievable goals. So then we should understand what learning solutions work for us in terms of these certain goals. And here also like competent colleagues can help us to connect the need and like prospective solution. However, we should understand that different people learn like in different ways, and we definitely have our like favorite and most effective ways to learn. So we should understand what works for us and what works in this case and what to choose. Fortunately, in our company, we have like numerous flexible opportunities, numerous learning solutions, and every one of us can choose something that will work for him or her in this particular case. Also, when we have this like environment in our company, we can understand, for example, what works for us and we can like take it even from some external sources. However, we will be sure that this way of learning is okay for us. And we should be very careful with setting our success criteria. Yeah. And this success criteria should not be huge. However, we should see that we are in the progress, that we have some milestones and something good happens. Yeah. Step by step. And then we will come up and we will execute this plan, even like if this plan is huge. So first of all, understand your priorities, set these priorities, transform these priorities into smart goals, set up your plan, see what is a tool set for you to cover this plan, and set success priorities.
Thank you very much. It was even some chain of steps, yes, and it's great. We can have even some map of these steps and how to cope with all these new conditions and still to learn, still to develop. Thank you very much. And I see a lot of thanks in our chat from our colleagues, from our participants. Natalia, thanks for such necessary and timely advices to educators and learners. Mentoring Matters from Oksana Mazurok. And we have some interesting questions from Olena Dobush for you, Natalia. Do you see that learning trends might change in the near future? Or what is main trend you see for now for learners inside SoftServe?
I see that people really, they expect flexibility. And if they are expected and they are focused on learning something that is like profound, complicated, you should be focused. So they need time to focus, environment to focus, way to, process all this like content and everything else. And then if we spend time for some like session when we meet each other, when we spend some time like connected, so this should be a very effective communication. So no one would like to spend time on listening someone saying something you can read, for example, and you can watch in a 5 minutes video. Yeah. So if we interact, this interaction should be like of a very good quality. This means that we as like facilitators, trainers, mentors, so we should arrange this interactive environment. Yeah. So interaction of a really like good quality is a characteristic of this like trend. So this means that we should combine a lot of formats. Yeah. So we should provide opportunities for different experiences for people to fulfill all slots they actually are able to learn through reading, through watching, through like doing some tasks, and through interaction as well. Yeah. So we should combine formats. Another things about like change and everything else, before this brutal attack, Russia attacked Ukraine. So we were thinking about how to arrange this like hybrid environment, and we talked a lot about that hybrid environment for learning within our conference previous year. Yeah. And everything has changed, and we should like reconsider our priorities and provide people with opportunity to learn even in a more complicated format than hybrid. Yeah. So first of all, something can change dramatically just like next day, and priorities will be reconsidered, and like you should do something like very different. What is like good news is that we are able to do this. Yeah, we have a lot of experience, and we have a lot of resources. Actually, we work in IT, and we have like more resources than, for example, in other industries and like somewhere else. Yeah. So I see that that we may have this trend that people would like to spend their time in a like effective way. Yeah. So no time for lections, some like something you can perceive in some different, more effective way and be like more productive in spending your time. Yeah. However, interaction, if we set up some interaction, so we should think about like unique information we provide, unique type of interaction we can arrange. So this will bring value, not you just spend your precious time. However, you create value through collaboration.
Natalia, and I see a lot of other answers in our chat. So a lot of personal questions, yes, for you. And one more question from Roman Molodovets. Yes, Natalia, tell me as a mother, very interesting one question, how can we motivate our children to learn in such unstable time?
Uh, my personal opinion is that what we can do, so we can somehow demotivate like children to learn, because learning is actually a natural state for, especially for children. Yeah, they are like natural scientists. Yeah, they would like to know how things work actually, and how everything is arranged and everything else. So what we can do, like how we can like behave the best way. So we should first of all, we should provide them with, we should explain our values. Yeah, we should explain forward how, why something is important. Yeah, help them to make some conclusions and help them to investigate the world in any like opportunity they would like to have. Yeah, so we should be the talent advisors. We should recognize talents of our children and see what they can do best. Everyone can't just be able to do everything. Yeah, what they're interested in. So what way they learn, support this behavior, recognize this behavior, appreciate this behavior, reward this behavior. Yeah, and like be ready to communicate a lot.
Thank you, thank you. Natalia, I want to say thank you for your openness and for your sincerity, for your personal experiences, for your personal answers. It's really very valuable for us, for our colleagues, in such interesting, challenging times still, yes, we live. And we have, I guess, some couple of questions, but be sure that Natalia will answer for this question by follow-up. Yes, and you
Okay.
definitely will have answer, yes, for your questions. Yes, some interesting ones. So, Natalia, thank you very much once again. And it was wonderful to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great pleasure for me, a great honor. Colleagues, please stay safe and support Ukrainian army. Thank you, colleagues.
Colleagues, in the meantime, I suggest we take a short break to watch our video from SoftServe University and recall how last year we celebrated our 15th anniversary. It was unforgettable. And after this video, we will have some just couple of minutes to prepare for our next speaker with very relevant topic. So see you very soon.
There is one thing that moves you, makes you stand out, leaves you in the past, or gets you to the future.
Knowledge.
No matter how and whom with, where or when, gain it. To unbox thinking, beat the status quo, get to the future. First, rise above and outgrow yourself. For many times. To lead, not follow. To innovate, create, and leave the legacy. To run far and run free. Power your greatest ambition.
Learn big.
SoftServe University.
Friends, let's talk about a safe learning environment. You know that a safe learning environment is always important, but now more than ever, we need to keep our learners confident that they are in a supportive learning environment while they are learning. And today, Jakub Kipinski, our communication expert, will share with us key aspects of this topic. Hi, Jakub.
How are you doing?
Thank you, I'm fine. And how are you? So nice to see and hear you today.
Thank you. Yeah, doing really well, as you can see, working from home. Yes, doing really
Yes,
well.
our
Really happy to be
reality.
here, by the way.
Thank you, Jakub. So please share with us these interesting moments about safe learning environment. I guess pretty crucial topic, yes, in our world today.
Sure, definitely. So again, thank you for everybody being here. I'm going to share my screen, so I will ask for help with that, so everybody can see it. And you'll see a blank screen that will change. Don't worry. You can see quite a lot of books, by the way, behind me. And typically, when I have a Zoom call, I get this question: "Oh, have you read all of these books?" To which I typically reply as, "Yeah, sure, of course." But the reality is a little bit different. And the fact is that some of those books are just unwanted gifts. Many of them belong to my wife, who is way more clever than I am. And there is a whole section of books written in languages I can't understand. But they make for a nice background. And there are actually a few books that I have read from that shelf. And I want to tell you a little bit about three of them, three very important ones. The first one is a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers, one of those New York Times bestsellers where the author studies very successful people and asks himself, how did they get to where they are? Very interesting and very important book. The second one is a Polish book, Zrozumieć Zespół, to understand the team, which is a business psychology book, really important. And probably the most important of all of these books is the Encyclopedia of Bad Hairstyles. And while you might find the first two unsurprising and the last one a bit strange, open it on any bad day to realize that your bad day is nothing when compared to some of the crimes committed by hairdressers or barbers. And I think as learners or as trainers, we have a lot of bad hair days. So definitely it can help. But let's get serious, Malcolm Gladwell wrote that book, Outliers, where he studied many famous athletes, celebrities, business people, and he was thinking and researching how is it that they got to where they are. And the main point of the book basically says this, that researchers have settled on what they believe is the magic number for true expertise, 10,000 hours. So in plain language, Gladwell says that if you want to become the next great tennis player or a business person or a cloud architect who's great at what they do, you need to invest those 10,000 hours in your training, learning, and so on. Now, what does that actually, mean for us? Because I got curious, in this topic, and I also started calculating my hours. I got a calculator and a piece of paper. And what basically happened is I figured, yeah, I got there at some point in the past. So then I thought, what can I do to go further? And I thought, why don't I, maybe since sky's the limit, why don't I compare myself to, some of those great people, right? Who kind of are these experts. And because I like music, films and movies, I thought of Tom Cruise. So how do I compare to Tom Cruise? In 2003, Tom Cruise had just finished filming The Last Samurai, which is a great movie, by the way. And you can see that I was a college freshman at that time, had zero experience as a trainer, never spent a minute as a teacher in the classroom. But you fast forward 13 years, where, 2016, Tom releases Jack Reacher, another great film. I run my own business and I get to that magic point. I have 10,000 hours as a trainer. And then this gets me thinking, we're in December, the new year is just around the corner. I wonder what the future will bring. How do I compare to Tom? I heard he's working on the next part of the Mission Impossible series. So what is the message for next year? And the message is that obviously Tom Cruise ages a lot better than I do. Now, what is the message all of that? Why am I telling you about Tom Cruises of the world and bad hair days? Number one, because as trainers or as learners, we are often tempted to compare ourselves to others, which, as you can see, doesn't really work very well. I mean, if I compare myself to Tom, it's a bit depressing to see that with every year he has more hair on his head, whereas I have less. But this also means that this whole trainer's job, it's not an easy one, and it requires a lot of knowledge of methodologies, knowing how to use skills, and also this understanding of the basics of psychology. And this is the topic of my talk today, psychological safety in the classroom, so to speak. So I want you to kind of imagine something, to turn on your imagination for the next minute or two, right? It's Thursday today, but let's transport ourselves to Monday next week. And let's imagine that next Monday, all of you will start some kind of a course. You will have an instructor. You will have another participants in the group. Could be any course, could be technical, could be a business course, maybe it's a language course. Now, I have a question to all of you, to think about this question. You can post it in our chat here on YouTube in the live stream if you want to. And the question goes like this. You start that course on Monday. Which one thing will make you feel safe in that session, in that particular class? Post your comment in our chat, and maybe I will ask Darina to read a few of those comments to see where we are.
Sure, with big pleasure. It's so interesting to see answers of our colleagues for me as well. And Jakub, I see some interesting comments. Firstly, a lot hello for you from colleagues, especially from Poland. And I see some comment. Yeah, some comment from Olena Dobosh. Books are great background.
Okay, fair enough, right? Thanks for that.
Yes.
So the question, what will make you as a learner feel safe in that, let's say, that first class, right? Maybe we have some answers.
Yes, please, colleagues. Let's answer in our chat. Don't be shy. We are waiting for your answers. Any answers, actually.
Right. So no worries. We'll get to that point at the end, right? If you need a few more minutes to think about it, let me continue, right, with the presentation. I'm going to go back to my screen.
But sorry, Jakub, we even have some first comment from Dominika.
Oh, perfect.
So I guess we can mention it, yes. Dominika says, got time to learn, reserved earlier, and know the place.
To know the place, right? Fair enough. Yes, that's an important point.
And we have another comment from Olena. Maybe if I knew someone earlier from that class.
Okay, definitely helps. The personal recommendation of feeling safer because you're not the only person there, somebody else. Makes sense.
Definitely. And Maria said, have familiar faces in the class.
So familiar that's a faces one, right? In the class. These kind of these two ones. Thank you for that.
Yes.
So let's get back, right? Let's get back to the presentation. A few more bits. So yes. Now I've told you about books, and I also want to tell you about this whole topic from, let's call it, the research perspective, because psychological safety, lots of companies take it seriously. One of them is actually Google. We all know what it is. And Google did a 2-year research project where they did what Google does best, which means is they collected a lot of data from people through surveys, interviews, and forms. Then they analyzed it. It was actually almost 200 active Google teams because they were trying to answer the question of what makes a Google team effective. And I think that a team at work and a team in let's say a class, so that's the educational setting, they're very similar. We'll talk about it today. And obviously they found a lot of things. They found that people like to do meaningful work. People like to have impact on what happens. They want to see structure and have clarity. But there is something very interesting. And it says that of the 5 key dynamics for effective teams, the researchers identified psychological safety, which was by far the most important. So psychological safety in a team at work, and then we can translate that to this, educational setting, a group or a classroom, whatever that is, psychological safety is the most important. Now, Google, they love these tools for analyzing things. And I know that these tools can be very scary, especially if you don't have a mathematical background, you don't know much about statistics or analyzing data. I know this can be quite scary, but I would like to share one of those tools with you, even though it's quite difficult, because I think it makes sense to understand how to use it, especially if you're a trainer. So yeah, please bear with me. It will take a moment to kind of understand how it works, and you might be wondering what this tool is. And the tool is a mirror. All of us have mirrors at homes, in the bathroom, in the living room, and when I put on my makeup, I also use a mirror. It's a great tool because it helps me to compare myself not to Tom Cruise, but to compare myself to my reflection, to who I am. It's a great tool because it lets me see myself as I am. And I think as a trainer, super important. Remember that bit about bad hair days. We're going to have them as trainers sooner or later. And being able to reflect, think about why things went the way they went could really be the answer. But books, right? We're talking about books as well. So there's one more book that I showed you at the beginning, Understanding the Team. Perfect book if you want to learn about small group dynamics, a project team or a class, written by actually two very mature and very experienced Polish business psychologists who've been working with Polish teams for almost 40 years. And there's a little quote from the introduction of that book, which is quite interesting. And that introduction says that the phases of development of a small group very much resemble the stages of the human adolescence process. Human adolescence process. We need to understand that in order to work with teams well. What could that mean? Now, the first small group that we are members of in our life is a family unit, right? Parents and kids. There are different roles, right? The role of the parent, the role of the child. And we also know that culturally, families are different. Now, while this was not true for me, I'm originally Polish, for many friends I went to school with, their parents really believed in the Polish saying that dzieci i ryby głosu nie mają, which translates to kids and fish don't have a voice. And I also remember talking to some Polish parents for whom the definition of a perfect child was a perfect boy or girl is invisible and mute. Now, think about it. That's a small group dynamic. Now, we carry that with us when we go to school. And again, I'm a product of the Polish educational system. And I remember this very well. Back in the day, there was a very clear distinction between the teacher who speaks and the students who listen. And they don't ask difficult questions. They never, ever challenge the teacher. And a bit like in many Polish families, they don't need to show much initiative because it's the teacher or the parent who makes all of the decisions. But at some point, all of us go to work. So we carry all of those models, behaviors, ideas, expectations with us, when we join projects. And I think it's definitely important to look at that mirror from time to time when you're working with a group, especially if you're a trainer, mentor, or coach, and think about those ideas that you have about who you are, who the group is. So yeah, 3 little bits and bobs. Now I'm nearing the end of the presentation. There's one more bit, a few more pictures that I want to share with you, because I'm sure you've also come here to get some practical tips or tricks, those of you who are maybe trainers or you kind of organize workshops and you think, how can I do it to have that more psychological safety in the group? Now, I don't think we can create a perfect world. All of our sessions or, courses solution will never be perfect. But if we could ask Harry Potter, who is a wizard, and as a wizard, he has a, magic wand, to give us a few tips and tricks, I think he would give us 5 of them. And I'd like to share them with you. In other words, what to do kind of to increase that psychological safety, especially in these difficult days that we have. The thing number 1 is basically connected to the fact that at the end of the day, we need to really create that welcoming and positive space. I think Dominika commented earlier on that I work into a place, maybe this is a physical classroom, I want to know where I am, what's going to happen. And it's nice if the teacher greets you, says, hi, how are you, introduces themselves, asks you something. If you look at the theory behind small group dynamics, you will learn that the first 2 stages we go through as participants in solutions or courses are the survival stage and the acceptance stage. What does that mean? In the survival stage, we're just worried, will we survive in the group? Because we don't know the rules, we don't know what's going to happen, what's acceptable, what's not. And the acceptance stage, some of you were talking about, oh, it's nice to have familiar faces in the group, because the acceptance stage means, will people like me? I think as a teacher, we need to kind of start with this positive, welcoming attitude. What's the next bit? It's about knowing your audience. You really need to know who the people are, right? Now, before I joined SoftServe, I had limited experience of training technical people. And I clearly realized when I started here that some of my tips and tricks, my tactics for training didn't work very well. Why was that? Because I had to understand that many technical people see the world through algorithms. So I had to start designing my contents, how I explain things and introduce concepts through this algorithmic way of seeing the world. So knowing your audience, meaning doing some research, who are the people, what are the roles, technical, non-technical, maybe geographically, the company, our company is growing, we have new locations, different cultures, might be a good idea to do that research. Now, how will you practically know your audience? Well, you will know them by asking them questions, right? Getting curious, but you won't be asking questions just because of the sake of asking, but because of the fact that you want to, learn more about them. Usually people feel important when we want to learn something about them. And remember that regardless of whether you work with kids or adults, when you start wearing the trainer's or teacher's hat, people will always look at you as a role model. So if you want to see certain behaviors, you want your participants to be proactive, you want them to ask more questions, you want them to smile, well, you need to model those behaviors first. Now, this is what makes, these three things make for good trainers. The final two will help you if you want to get to being a great trainer. What's the difference between being a good trainer and a great trainer? That a great trainer doesn't just ask questions. He or she really tries to understand what is behind the answers. In other words, great trainers will do a lot of time translating or clarifying the messages from their audience, paraphrasing, summarizing, associating, connecting what people are telling them to what they think they know. Again, making sure that will never be 100% possible, but just making sure we're closer to being on the same page, understanding each other. So yeah, positive, building that positive environment, knowing your audience, being curious, listening. What's the last part? Selling the idea and showing it that making mistakes is okay. If we're here and we're supposed to learn, if we're not making mistakes, it could mean that we're not trying, or it could mean that what we're doing is too easy. So when we try difficult things, and I'm sure all of you try learning hard things, technical, business, whatever, language, whatever it might be, showing that mistakes are okay, not blaming, not pointing your finger, being able to come clean and say that, you look, as a trainer, even though I have these 10,000 plus hours behind my belt, I've had many bad hair days in my life, and that's okay. So yeah, I hope this had value. I don't want to spend too much time talking. I can see, hopefully we have a few minutes for questions. So that's kind of me. Again, Google Rework, if you're interested, you might want to check it out. And yeah, maybe we have a few questions that we could have.
Yes. Yes, we have, Jakub. And first of all, I would like to thank you for this presentation, and special thank you for these brilliant examples, because personally for me they help to understand it, to remember all these important materials for educators very quickly. Really, it's great examples and they are very helpful. And really we have a lot of reactions from our colleagues that they were during our presentation about how a child should behave in our culture. Marzena, definitely agree with you. And I see that we have some questions from Ola. Jakub, what questions can we ask ourselves if we want to reflect on ourselves as trainers and educators?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question. I mean, there are quite a few of them. There is one little technique. It's an acronym. It's called ORID. ORID. Every letter stands for something. So O stands for observing. Remember, when you're looking at yourself in the mirror, you're just observing. What do I look like? And here you're just observing what happened in that classroom, in that session. What did I see? What did I hear? Then the second part is about reflecting, which is thinking about your feelings or emotions. How did that make you feel? Right? You lost your confidence, you got angry because they were quiet, they weren't doing anything. Then the third part is about you're trying to interpret that behaviors. Where could that come from? What happened? And finally, at the end, you need to think about, designing the next steps. So making little changes. So hopefully the next class, the next session will be a bit different. That would
Yes.
be my answer.
Yeah, thank you very much for this answer. We have one more question from Dominika. Someone can say that we are not psychologists. How can we learn about what we should do if we are trainers and do not have a lot of time during the training session to create a safe environment? So how we can learn?
How we can learn? Well, we're here in the right place. So all of these conferences are great places, and I would definitely say learning from people who train others, maybe in completely different settings. I had the chance the other day to watch a presentation which was delivered by a Dutch woman who is a professional barista trainer. So she organizes training courses for people who want to be professional baristas. They want to learn how to make coffee in the right way. And she was sharing her experience of what happens when people come, into that session. And it was that person who reminded me of this survival and this acceptance stage. So I would probably say any kind of communities in the good old days, if you worked in any educational setting, you probably know the place called the staff room, where all of the teachers come and complain about things. We don't really have it that much now working remotely, but all of those communities for trainers, local groups, conferences like this one, and definitely learning from people who also train, maybe in different walks of life, different professions. That will kind of be my answer.
Thank you, Jakub. I see some comment from Ola. Little change, small steps. I love this advice. Thanks, Kuba. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Thank you. You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you. And Jakub, I have another question from me, yes, personally. How can we get to know our training group the most important information about our learners?
I think it's going to be different from everybody. For me, for example, it's important to know the roles of people. I'm a communication trainer, so I work both with technical people, with business people, with managers. So it's important for me to know what is the distribution of these roles that will help me to kind of speak the same language to them. This is probably one of the things. If we work with specific project teams, it's always good to talk to people who have that experience. Maybe they kind of know them, or maybe you have an ambassador of some sort in a given group. And especially, we're talking about these difficult times. If I'm training and I have a number of participants in that session who are based in Ukraine, might be good to do anything, even check the latest news, talk to somebody, see what's happening, what you can expect, just so that you don't get angry when you see people are not joining in, they have cameras off. Maybe they have a good reason for that. So even doing that little check, let's call it, a few hours before the session, or, in the morning of the same day, it can really kind of save you from that frustration, because you might be feeling frustrated, but there is a very good reason, of why something is happening.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much for your answer. When you mentioned especially this situation with Ukrainian people, with their emotions, I'm really curious. Yes, we have some small points. For example, people can be without camera, yes, or maybe sometimes they can miss opportunity to type something in chat, or maybe to answer to question of trainer. But if you see that some group of people, or I don't know, some person has a lot of these, bad emotions, yes, maybe angry, maybe even about something furious, and you understand that maybe it's not a little bit time for learning, but person needs to have it. We want to learn, we want to develop, maybe we have even some small plan, it's great, but we understand that a lot of conditions, a lot of situation can spoil yet this moment for learning. What should you advise in this situation? Maybe even to suggest person to wait for some right moment for learning, or maybe you will try to create some icebreaker, yes, for such people. Maybe you have such experience, especially during this year.
Yeah, I think in my career, I used to work as a school teacher many years ago, and I always see those situations where you're working with a class of kids, and there's this one kid who doesn't want to listen to you, doesn't want to do anything. For me, it was okay if that kid could sit somewhere in the corner and read instead of listening to me. So if I can see that people cannot join for whatever reason, maybe I can share links to some self-study resources. If they have no internet access, maybe this is a document that they can just quickly download and they can read it offline, or they can print it so they can have it. Being flexible and giving people that choice. I think also because of what's happening in Ukraine, developing those solutions that can also work offline. Even if, like me, you're a trainer who delivers maybe 80% of sessions in this online mode, having something that I can share with people, they can print it, they can download it, and they can, read or watch things, even if they cannot, plug into the internet. That would be kind of my tip.
Thank you very much. I fully agree with you, and I see that other colleagues say a lot of thank you. Yes, for these you practical examples. Yes, as Oksana mentioned, that can be very helpful for both educators and learners, just to reflect our emotions, and from the other side, to train us to reflect their emotion, their approach, to change something. Yes, because we need to be flexible during this challenging time, and especially this example about offline access, about self-study materials, about even your experience of work with in school. Yes, it's great examples for us. So thank you very much once again.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
very much, Jakov. It was brilliant presentation, a lot of great thoughts, a lot of great insights for our colleagues. I see it in our chat. So thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Good luck with all of your kind of educational endeavors, and thank you for organizing the conference and for inviting me. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Colleagues, and I suggest to take a short break to reflect after listening and to vote for our Learning Innovator 2022 if you haven't already done so. If you haven't done already so, and if you haven't voted, please find our link in our chat from our moderators where you can leave your vote. And please remember that after we get back to our meeting, voting will be closed. So, once again, don't miss this opportunity to vote for Learning Innovator now. Stay tuned, there are a lot of interesting things ahead of us.
Don't you cry.
conference. Thanks for everyone who voted for our learning innovators, and very soon we will know the names of our winners. And I hope that you've had a little rest and that you are ready for our new speakers and for very relevant topic. So I'm pleased to introduce and to welcome in our studio here with me today Anastasia Frolova, Country Manager Ukraine. Hi Anastasia.
Hi Darina, I'm really honored and happy to be here. That is the first time when I speak at this conference, so I'm a bit nervous. And to say more, like the topic that we are going to discuss, it is a very important one these days especially. So
Yes, I fully agree. Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to see you in person. Yes, and I know that you are working on a variety of resilience-related projects, and I guess you definitely have a lot to say on this topic for us.
Since probably the pandemic started, resilience become kind of a buzzword. And I'm sure that I'm going to use that at least 1 or even 200 times the next 20 or 25 minutes. But I have to say sorry for that. I cannot just exclude that from my vocabulary during this presentation. But what I want to emphasize, I am not a professional psychologist. I'm not a super crisis manager. I'm not a specialist or an expert in topic of resilience, but what I can do is to share my own experience as a SoftServe manager, as a SoftServe leader, the results of my previously done research on this matter, and as well as my personal reflections on the topic of resilience. So I believe that that's what we are going to talk about today.
Yes.
And what I want to say is I'm not a lecturer. I'm not here, to lecture you or to teach something. I'm pretty sure, and I know there are a lot of and plenty people who are experts in this topic, in this area. And I welcome you, Darina, to join me and make that as a conversation. So please, when you have any question, please stop me and ask me. And I think that interactive format might be more useful for our audience.
Sure, with big pleasure. And even if we will have some questions in the chat, I'm sure that our colleagues would like to discuss such important topic. So we definitely mention all these questions. Thank you.
Nice. And again, to make it more interactive, colleagues, the audience, probably you have already received the link to the Kahoot. If I'm not mistaken, the name of the tool is Kahoot. So before we move on, I encourage you to think about one word that comes to your mind when you are thinking about resilience. What is resilience for you? Please open the link and type that word in. So in the end of our conversation with Darina, all of us, we will have something in common and something that we can rely on in developing our own personal resilience. That I want this to be a supportive, exercise for all of us. So please do that, and let's see in the end what we have as a cloud of our resilience. So to begin with, I will start probably with the numerous of definitions that I found when I was making my research on the topic of resilience. I went through lots of... Oh, my clicker is not working. Okay, I will continue, and I think that... Oh, now it's worked. Thanks guys. I analyzed several dictionaries, and that was an Oxford, Cambridge, Merriam-Webster, Dictionary.com, and lots of others. And all of the definitions, they are slightly different, but mainly about the same thing. It is about ability or capability of an object or a person or a system to recover to its initial stage after something has influenced it, right? But almost in all the definitions, we see that something, something brutal happens to the object of influence. When I personally think about resilience, I see that in a slightly different way. It's definitely always about an impact. It is always about the challenges that we face in our lives as a person, as a company. But it doesn't matter either it is a positive experience or negative experience. It is always about an impactful influence. And resilience is how quickly can we adapt to the situation and start operating in the initial our mood, yes, and state of mind. I don't think that we need to get back to physics and what resilience is for objects. So I suggest to focus on the resilience of systems and then dig deeper into individual resilience. So speaking about resilience of systems, here I suggest you to take a look on the scheme suggested by McKinsey. Those are 4 main pillars that they suggest as a basics for a resilient company, for a resilient organization. And first of those is an agility as a DNA of the company. And it has also its attributes. And first of all, it is about dynamic decision making. Resilient company is the one that doesn't have, that huge chain of approvals to make something done. It is about doing right things in time with those people who know what to do. So the dynamic decision-making process should be in place, as well as effective communication. Horizontal communication, bottom-up, upside-down. So everyone within this system stay in the same informational context, and information should be as transparent as possible. The next pillar would be the self-sufficient teams that are empowered and that are driven with the same values as company does. And that is super important actually, because they can share that value, share those company values and that rapidly changing environment, and share everything that is changing in the company with the customers with whom they are stay in contact all the time. The third pillar is an adaptable leaders and here we are talking not about managers. We are talking definitely about leaders who are not only reacting on, let's say, changes in competitors' field or whatever, but who proactively work with their teams and who coach them, who catalyze new behaviors that will, return back in that resilience, organizational resilience. And all those named 3 pillars, as for me, they contribute to the 4th one, and it is about culture. So when we speak about resilience, when we talk about resilience in organization, it is about the company. Because when we set up our operations as a resilient one, when we develop our business operation as a resilient one, it attracts specific type of talent who will join the company and definitely will contribute to that value. that attracts those people who feel that in themselves. So that is a very holistic system, and I like it because there are numerous of different researches that suggest us the huge tables, how to evaluate corporate resilience and so on and so forth. But for me, I feel those 4 pillars, as those that we may rely on as an organization. And if we already started to discuss the organizational resilience, so Darina, my probably question to you to make it, as a conversation,
Yes.
What would you say about SoftServe? Do you think that we as a company are resilient one?
It's quite question because when you mentioned this great word at the beginning of your presentation, of your speech, to adapt. And when I think about our company, especially during this time, during this year, word that came up for me, it's adaptation, flexibility, I don't know, some maybe change, but still it's all about adaptation, flexibility, and we are strong. And me as associate, yes, as associate of SoftServe, I feel really this possibility of adaptation in our company. Possibility of adaptation not only like globally for organization, but about our leaders as well. And we support each other. So maybe, yes, maybe I didn't think about this as resilience, yes, because still it's like one separate term, and maybe it's very popular nowadays, 100%, but we think about like adaptation. Okay, what company can do for me in these conditions? How we can adapt? How I see that my company is flexible? Everything I feel in SoftServe, it's really about this. So I guess it's about resilience.
I think, I can compliment you here. I agree with you, totally agree. And I do believe that SoftServe is an example of, resilient business.
Yes.
And if to look back, what made us resilient, I think that is not, the experience of going through a crisis. It is an experience of going through a series of crises.
Yes.
Let's start from the pandemic, COVID. Of course, we were not unique, but still there was, a big impact on us, without any doubts. Then there was a security incident. Then now that's gonna be soon a year as we live in a war here in Ukraine, right? And I named those 3 with some negative connotation, but again, right after the pandemic started, we faced the super challenge, the great business demand. So we grew 45% over a year. And it is also a huge crisis for the company, for the culture of the company, because just in 1 year, almost half of the company joined it. So not to vanish the culture of the company and still stay SoftServe, that was a huge crisis. I think that going through all of those definitely made us, stronger, more adaptable to that, uncertain world, right? And thinking about SoftServe and being a part of a leadership team here at SoftServe, I was thinking about building blocks. Again, those pillars that made our company resilient. And of course, it is referring to previous slide and to what I told previously, it is organizational agility. I have been working at SoftServe for almost 7 years, and I remember at least 3 or 4 big reorganizations in the company. And I mean like in the delivery segment only. And another example of corporate agility is our creating an emergency response team, which is a great example of cross-functional collaboration. And we created that team about 3 years ago, before the pandemic started, to address the challenges related to it. Then there was, going to that hybrid mode of cooperation between associate and the company. And this year, this team addressed a completely different questions. starting from evacuating people, you know,
Yes.
from east of Ukraine to the safer parts, and now we are addressing all the risks related to power outages and stuff like that. So that team is the one that helps the whole organization, you know, to overcome all those crisis situations. And moreover, it is a completely volunteer job. You won't find any of what this team is doing in job descriptions of anyone
Yes,
from
yes.
this team, right? And it is not rewarded in a classic way. So that is just a, you know, an example of agility, how people who care want to together and to ensure that we as a company will go through this crisis, just to give possibility to all of our associates to continue working and being a part of all that system. So that is the thing that I'm really proud of here at SoftServe. Another, I think, that block that made us, that makes us stable and adaptable and resilient to changes, it is our financial flexibility, because like facing all those challenges, we have our emergency financial fund that helps us not to impact significantly on the general like financial model of our company. It is also about portfolio and geodiversity. So we extend our portfolio to new customers, new domains, as well as we extend the geography where we operate in.
Yes.
So just last year, which was super difficult for all of us, right? We have opened our new operational centers in 3 countries in Latin America. It is Colombia, it is Mexico, and it is Chile. We managed to open lots of offices in our existing geographies in Poland and in Bulgaria. Also, we launched an operations in a new European country in Romania. So it is amazing, but that is actually another example of resilience, how we manage our geographical risks, you know, to make company more stable when the huge part of it, you know, under the risk all the time. And the last but not the least, again, you know, it refers to, in a way, to the culture, but it is about reputation. So for me, SoftServe is a company about people and for people. As Taras Kitsmay, you know, likes to say that we are in people business, no matter that we are doing software, that we are providing or developing software for our clients. We are in people business. So serving people for almost 30 years gives us that, you know, solid ground that we may also rely on. And how we as a company address that, you know, address that challenges that we are facing right now, I think that through business continuity plans on the different levels. So on the corporate level, it is, you know, like a general company business continuity plan that helps us to maintain, to keep maintaining business. Then, of course, on the level down, it is account or like project-based business continuity plan that relates to particular client. And on the personal level, it is about like individual business continuity plan. And here I think that it refers, you know, to this conference, to learning a lot, because how can we do that for, you know, 10,000 of people?
Yes.
Just through learning, through different learning solutions that will teach people how can they go through all those crises on all the, you know, like personal dimensions, right? On the emotional, on the intellectual, mental, whatever. Yeah, so I think that that is those things that we've named, that I named, that is something that relates to SoftServe's resilience, as a company. But company cannot be resilient if it doesn't consist of resilient people, of resilient individuals. So I suggest, but to move on to this topic, what would you say, Dasha, what contributes to your personal resilience?
Oh, it's an interesting question, but when you're talking about people, yes, in our company, I was thinking a little bit that I've been working in SoftServe about 1.5 years, and I guess for this time I changed as well. Personally, not because of some development within this company, not because of onboarding or of adaptation. Of course, we have a lot of new tasks, especially for me, because SoftServe University is something unique, yes, for companies of such levels. But even because I observe other people, especially my teammates, and I see now this resilience, yes, especially when you mention all these moments, all this reason why we can call it resilience. I really understand that I feel it in my people. So yes, I understand that maybe I change some approach personally to resilience. I just observe how copes with all the things my company, and I feel that I can do it as well. But from these small puzzles consists of SoftServe, from such people as me and you, how we can cope with this. And it's great that we have this great example. And I have even some question for you, Anastasia, because when you were talking about all these moments, about organizational moments, maybe you will have this answer yes, till the end of your presentation of your speech, but still you had huge research on this topic. And did you feel that something changed in your life approach? Did you feel that you understand what is resilience, and from this research maybe you took something, yes, for you? Did you feel that this research and understanding more deeply this topic changed your life, your approach?
That is a nice question. Thank you, Darina, for it. I used to think that I'm a very independent person and that I don't need anyone, to rely on, that I can carry everything out. But this year showed me that doesn't work anymore. And personally for me, that's not about this research, that's about last year experience and my thinking about the topic of resilience. I've learned to rely on others, and I think that should become, a common approach and a common strategy for at least all of Ukrainians these days.
Yes.
Because that is super important. And even when we think that we are alone, in our own world and in our own sufferings, we are not alone even in that.
Yes. Yes.
We are not alone even in that. So, and understanding of that, it definitely helps, to shape my way of thinking and to rely on the common, on the common experience. And no one told us that life gonna be full of happiness and that's all. That is something that's shaping us. Yes, and other people, my family, my relatives, my friends, they are a huge resource for me of resilience. Great. So that is something that probably I realized.
Great.
We have about 5 minutes. Our colleagues showed us that. When we looking for developing our resilience, our personal resilience, right? We are talking about developing the toolkit not only a trait or behavior, one behavior, you know. We are looking about developing a toolkit that will help us to face the challenge, to face the situation, the circumstances, and go through it, not returning back to our initial shape, but become better in the end, become more self-cautious in the end. So on this way, I really suggest everyone to rely on others and develop, you know, own self-cautious to understand what are, you know, my own strong sides that will help me to go through any crisis that I will face. And yeah, I already told at the beginning that I'm not the expert in this topic, but I understand that person is about several dimensions, right? Personality is about several dimensions. It is about our mentality. It is about our physical, I don't know, like health. It is about spirituality. It is about being emotional, and there are a lot of things that may help us to make all those parts, you know, resilient and strong. And first of all, of course, we need to take care of ourselves, like just literally eat well, sleep enough, and look for that, you know, stress management activities that will help in particular me or you. Like for me, it is like yoga and maybe some breathing gymnastics and techniques. For someone else, that could be, I don't know, pottering, right?
Yes.
But looking for those things that help us, you know, to get back to our normal state of mind and calmness, give us that feeling of calmness. I think that it is super important these days. As well as, you know, maintain our social connections, because again, sometimes we feel, you know, that we are alone in this situation, but we are definitely not. And in our recent crisis in Ukraine, it is of course super important to develop your own so-called business continuity plan. So what would you do in case of emergency? Right, because that is kind of a life-threatening crisis. That's not a crisis of psychological crisis or whatever else. So that is something that may impact and may harm your life. So thinking about those things is super important these days, and being prepared in front, it is something that each of us have to keep in mind. So make a disaster kit, make your plan of evacuation or whatever, get training at first aid and as well as first psychological aid, because we need to understand how can we support, I don't know, whoever we meet, you know, in that situation, like support emotionally, and how we can help person to go through this crisis. So I think that those are my reflections, you know, on what it means to be resilient on both personal, individual, and corporate levels. But I'm super curious to know what our audience think about resilience.
Yes.
Can we share that cloud of resilience here? I hope that we have enough of answers. Elasticity, immunity to stressor, flexibility, adaptation. Adaptation looks like, you know, the word that relates to resilience to most of our associates. Yes, I completely agree. Whatever happens, we have to stay, you know, flexible, agile, and just adapt to that situation. That's it. That's everything that we can do, right?
100%. And to be adults, yes, because a lot of, you had a lot of interesting things for me, and I was thinking about me as well, yes, just to understand what can help you in this situation, as for mental health, as for physical health, as for even, yes, some plans, what I should do in the near future. We need to reflect it. And we need to think
Yep.
about this, yes, because if it's great that for example, that yoga is a great task for me, and I can feel better after this. But I understand, unfortunately, a lot of people, sometimes we don't have time, sometimes we don't have desire just to investigate this field. What will do my mental health, my physical health better?
That's
And
true.
it's something about learning as well, yes, because we are sure that learning, it's not about like children, about this like general
Of
education.
course.
It's all, even adults, we still are learning to investigate ourselves, to
Yes.
investigate our company, our team, our possibility to change something, how we can be flexible. It's all about learning.
It's about learning, and I really admire, that how you said that being an adult.
Yes.
Being an adult on the one hand, and practice, self-compassion going throughout the crisis on the other hand. I think that somewhere in the middle there
Yes.
will be, the right way, the right path.
Yes, 100%. Thank you very much, Anastasia, for your great speech, for a lot of information about researching, about your insights. And I see that our colleagues in our chat has some question as well. So I see a question from Ksenia. Anastasia, what do you personally rely on to stay resilient? We talk a little bit, yes, but maybe deeply.
Yes, as I told that as the people close to me, and last couple of months I have another source of joy. I become a happy owner, but no, owner would be not the best word here. A mother of a puppy.
Oh, yes, yes.
So that's for sure is a great source, of positive feelings that definitely impact on my general resilience.
Great, great. And I see some comment, or maybe even question from Olena Dobash. What is your source of resilience? What will be your advice to our associates how to empower our own self to be able to empower others?
Start discovering oneself, to raise that level of self-understanding. And only when we know ourselves well enough,
yes,
we can help someone else. So start with oneself.
Yes, 100%. And I see some question from Gergana. Anastasia, how can we measure resilience? Great question,
Okay, let me think. Good question. I will answer following way. It is about the speed and the quality, both on the system and individual levels. When on the system level, it is, the speed of adaptability, how fast we adapt to the situation and circumstances, and the quality of our decisions, the quality of how that speed influences the quality of our decisions. On the personal level, I think it works the same way. How fast we react adequately to the situation, and what we do with that, how we adapt to that, what our personal decisions, in those new situations.
Yes.
And what learnings we take out of the situation, and how we adjust our behavior according to it.
And what do you think, about maybe some outside specialists? For example, some person can't understand, or maybe can open in themselves which type of resilience I have, or maybe I need to measure somehow, but I don't know how, and I don't know which ways can help me. In this situation, can we use, and nowadays, is it popular to use, for example, coach, or maybe some other people?
That was exactly what I wanted to answer, because seeking for help.
Yes.
Seeking for help, nowadays there are a lot of instruments and huge amount of specialists and volunteers who would be ready to help and to support. So seeking for help and being open for getting that help.
Yes.
I think that is crucial. And of course, all the instruments will be perfect here. Like either it would be coaching, psychotherapy, psychological support, whatever.
Yes, and it's great that we even see it within our company, that we have some resources and our company takes care about this, provides all this information. Yes, please take this help from psychologists, please take some help from coaches, even from some colleagues, volunteers who feel maybe a little bit better, yes, who feel maybe a little bit more resilient than others. They can help within teams.
Mentoring, of course,
Yes.
mentoring as well, yes. I remember that from the first days of the full-scale invasion, we've launched the psychological hotline, for our associates and
Yes,
their relatives.
I remember.
Yes, and it's still working, and moreover, we extended that to Poland as well. For our associates, are happy enough to be a part of company, but I think that that's our mission. Like each of us need to share, to extend that knowledge outside the company. Because as you said, a lot of people just do not know, might do not know about those instruments that they might help them.
Yes, it's true. Anastasia, thank you very much for this inspiring speech, and I had a lot of insights personally. I hope that our colleagues had a lot of insights as well, some new ideas, some even type of reflection. And yes, thank you very much for a lot of research, because it's very valuable, yes, especially for these both levels, for organizational and for personal levels. It's great to understand that we have different levels of this resilience, and we need to take care not only about ourselves, but still about our teams, about company, just to understand where we are. And thank you very much for some kind of advices and even some personal experience about puppy. It's great, I guess.
Yes, that's the best thing that happened to me this year.
Great, to have a bit more resilience. Yes, puppy, it's really great choice. Thank you very much, Anastasia,
Thank you,
once
Dana.
again. It was wonderful to have you with us today.
It was my pleasure to be here with you today.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, it was really very great presentation and inspiring speech from our country manager Ukraine, Anastasia Frolova. I hope that you have been inspired by these words. Maybe you open something new in yourselves. Maybe you would like to reflect after our conference on this topic of resilience. So we have like this opportunity now. And I would like to say that a little bit about learning, yes, just to reflect about learning this moment. And surely learning is about reaching your full potential and can help you achieve self-actualization. We know that learning, as I mentioned with our discussion with Anastasia, it's not only about some general education. It's not only about school or university. Even after this, we understand that still it's very important to learn and to develop ourselves. I like these advices from our previous speakers as well, just to have even 10, even 15 minutes a day, and you will feel this difference, yes, between you today and between you, for example, even in a month. And it's great that our company can feel these results of our colleagues who still can learn, can develop, and we see these results overall our company. So more and more often we are hearing about a lifelong learning approach, which for me confirmed the words of my favorite academic Alan Burton Jones. Learning will become a lifelong process, the biggest activity on the planet, and the major growth market of the 21st century. I guess it's a great prediction. So let's talk about learning as a lifelong experience with our next guest. And I guess we can have just several minutes to reflect after listening, especially after our inspiring discussion with Anastasia. And yes, after this we will have very important topic. It will be about lifelong learning approach, and yes, we will have even three guests, three secret guests, I can say. But we will know about them and about this topic specifically after our short break. So see you very soon. Stay tuned. Welcome back, our colleagues. I promise that we will talk about very important topic, and we will talk about learning as a lifelong experience. And I promise that we will even have three guests, so we will have panel discussion, and I guess it will be very interesting and useful variant, sharing of best practices, ideas, and insights from our guest. So let's introduce me our guests, which we talk about this important topic. So we will have Dmytro Irzhitsky, Oksana Deminska, and Vyacheslav Koldovsky with us. Hi, colleagues.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, colleagues. So great to see and hear you. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you that you joined to discuss such an important topic, yes, about lifelong learning experience. And yes, let's start from the first question, I guess. Yes, maybe just to talk a little bit about this topic, and I guess first question will be as this: what does lifelong learning mean to you personally? So maybe Dmytro, could you please share how you understand it and what you do as a lifelong learner?
Sure. For me personally, it's the part of my personal growth, of who I am. So this is about learning something new every day. This is about keeping on accumulating the experience, keeping on learning the mistakes, regardless if they're personal or the mistakes of the others, which is more pleasant. This is about getting some weird encyclopedic knowledge from the internet to store either together with the important knowledge or instead of it. This is about the observing. It's not just about reading the books, but it's about making observations. It's about seeking the answers. It's about challenging your concepts, challenging your ideas, your opinions. It's not just about reaffirming what you already think, but this is about also kind of getting some alternative views. It's about seeing things from the different perspective. So learning is the path, let's say.
Thank you, Dmitro. And maybe, colleagues, do you have your thoughts, your personal experience? What does lifelong learning mean to you, Oksana?
Yeah, I just so much liked the last allusion of Dmitro about the lifelong learning. It's more of a journey than a destination. Yeah, so it's like it's ongoing process. Yeah, and that's like by its definition, it's always voluntary and self motivated. Yeah, so for me, it's just an inherited part of everyday life. Yeah, in our working life, and also it's probably it's a good marker for myself, especially during this year, just to understand if you're in your like, let's say, the best position in life. Yeah, because when you feel sometimes if this a part of your life, like learning, is not present, yeah, so probably something goes, I don't want to say wrong, yeah, but probably you're not at the best spot at which you can be, yeah, because normally, at least for myself, yeah, I define it. So if I have time and I'm at this point of learning, yeah, and getting new knowledge, it means that, oh, okay, I'm on my regular pace. Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's so valuable to hear your thoughts, especially about this marker. Yes, even how I can feel how I can feel, and do I learn? If I don't learn, what is not okay, not wrong? Yes, but maybe I need to fix something. Yes, and maybe I need to have more time for this special activity, and it's very useful. Thank you very much for this marker. It's really great thought. And Vyacheslav, what do you think about this? What do you think about lifelong learning approach? Do you have it? How you understand it for yourself?
Yeah, I have very interesting story from my life. When I was learning at university, a professor of mathematics came to me and told me, I see that you are talented in mathematics, but you are also doing that IT stuff. Actually, IT is changing all the time, so I don't encourage you to learn it. Better learn mathematics, learn it once, and it will feed you all the time, all your life. But it was terrible for me to hear that, and I was very afraid to stop learning. So I choose IT over mathematics. So that's my personal decision.
Great example. Thank you. Thank you. And by the way, colleagues, please, can you share any questions now in chat? Because still we can try to make our discussion more interactive, maybe even, I would say, because maybe we can have a mix of questions from my side, from side of our audience. So if you have already some questions, some thoughts about this interesting topic, please share in chat right now, because we will ask this question to our speakers today. Great, Vyacheslav, so maybe you continue, yes, if you finished this interesting question. Yes, I have another question about why is it important in today's world to be a lifelong learner, especially about companies, about individuals, why they need this approach, maybe why they chose this approach.
You see, the world is changing very fast, and this how it is changing is even become faster through years. And this year we have some breakthroughs in artificial intelligence. And for example, Microsoft released GitHub Copilot, which actually writes code. So I even bought a license for it, and it is helping me a lot. And I see how the job is becoming different. So I can't say that it will replace developers, but I can tell that how developers will work will be very different very soon. And last days, maybe a week ago, there was some tool released called Chat GPT that answers questions. it even can do better coding interviews that most developers do. So you need to learn just to be competitive, at least because world is changing, and if you are not doing it right now, you are already late. So that's my answer to that.
Sure. We have a lot of motivation, yes, nowadays from these different sources. I totally agree. And Mitro, what do you say about this topic, about this importance of lifelong learning approach? How do you understand it?
Sure. So the world these days is very dynamic. Constantly, the availability of knowledge changes. The need of development is increasing over time. So the new generations strive for self-actualization and independence, right? So we have a very dynamic infrastructure. I think that those who are able to capture the pace, the companies, I mean, because you were asking about the companies, these companies are successful on the market. Because if they are not able to catch up with the pace, it's they are only getting what they always got, right, as they say.
Yes, totally agree. And Oksana, yes, Dmitry mentioned a little bit about companies and about this approach in such environment. What do you say about individuals? Maybe from your own experience, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Vyacheslav and Dmitry already mentioned that the world and like the nowadays reality is that very dynamic, yeah, and just it's probably the majority of you know that one of the main markers of this post-industrial and post-informational societies is the amount of accumulated knowledge, yeah, and it's growing exponentially, yeah, and it makes like continuous learning, yeah, and lifelong learning is one of the key demanded, yeah, features of each individual, yeah. Otherwise, as Vyacheslav just told us, you're already late, yeah. If you are doing just the same today, yeah, what you've been doing yesterday, so you're already lagging behind, yeah. So just to keep up and to be competitive, both as like professional and just in video, yeah. And we probably those who have kids, yeah, of any age, yeah, you see how how competitive next generations are, yeah, and they're even more adaptive, yeah, to changes into different contexts than we are, yeah. So that's why we just everyone needs to realize that it's just the basic demand of nowadays, and it will be even more and more in the future, yeah. The more flexible we are, the more adaptive we are, and the more we are open to the very idea of constant learning, yeah, and maybe the knowledge even to be outdated, yeah, like from day one to day two. So it will make us all successful.
Yes, thank you very much for your answers, colleagues. I see that in chat we have another question from Oksana Mazurok, and this question for me a bit connected with our discussion, yes, about future, about dynamic world. So Oksana asked, colleagues, what would you like to learn in the future which is not related to your current role? Pretty interesting question. So Dmitro, maybe you should start.
Well, of course, it's very important to seek for knowledge and for something new outside of your professional area. So if I talk about myself, my passion is right now with evolutionary biology. So in neuroscience, I'm very curious to learn about the processes happening in the brain and how we got there actually in the evolutionary process, right? So this is, I think, the focus for my external learnings.
But still, I guess it's great helps even within our work, within our development, yes? It's really very useful knowledge. Great, thank you very much. Thank you for your openness. And Vyacheslav, any thoughts about some learning but that are not related to your current role? Do you have something like this?
I suggest that you can do some physical activity, and it intensifies your brain. And I personally do some scientific research. I completed a PhD, got titles and so on. But also I was doing some sports training, and I can see that it combines greatly. So if mostly when you are developing skills, it much closer to what you are doing in sports. So to achieve, to master something, you need repetition, you need discipline, and so on. So it's much closer to sports, and everything that we are doing in IT also is build skills in this way. So I should suggest to do something this way.
Yes, I totally agree. And personally, this year I had some experience. I took up dancing, and I noticed this connection really about these rehearsals, about this mood, yes, about some kind of competition, about some new knowledge. And even in this fair, we still have some connection, yes, between dancing, between sport, between something physical, with our development, with our brain, yes, with learning. Great, thank you very much for your thoughts. And Oksana, do you have some plans for the future in this field, or maybe you already have, maybe you already learned something that not related to your position, yes, to your role?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I asked myself, 3 minutes ago, and I realized I have a plenty of things I would love to learn. Maybe not everything in the nearest future, like not in the upcoming year, but that would be the range of like from a few foreign languages. Yeah. So I used to study quite a few of them. So probably I would love to go back to maybe Spanish, Danish, and Polish at some time. To study maybe something new about like completely different field for me, but very wanted. Is about like different fabrics and making clothes. Yeah, some specific type of clothing. And also at some point I will definitely go back to mastering piano. Yeah, so I used to study it for at least 9 years back then, and now probably that's one of key things which I lack, at least in my current apartment where I live. So I always used to have piano at home, or grand piano even, but not now, and I'm just looking forward to this opportunity and coming back to it.
Great, great. So nice to hear your thoughts, and so nice to hear your personal experience, sometimes even unexpected, I would say. But still, it's great that we learn in such different fields. Vyacheslav, I saw some comments from Ola in our chat. Навчитися вчитися in Ukrainian. It's about book. Learning How to Learn, book by Barbara Oakley, is on Vyacheslav's shelf. Am I right? I adore
Yes,
this book as well.
absolutely correct. And I can tell that she also has a course on Coursera, and I recommend it. But in general, nothing is special about the book, about the course. I actually had some experience in time management. I even had my website with many articles, and I think that people are looking for time management, just looking for secret not to do things. But actually, time management is how you need to do things. And I believe that some people are trying to look for some secrets how to learn just because they don't want to learn. For you to learn, just start doing it regularly, and that's all. That's simple. So that's the answer. You don't need to pass courses or read books about it. Just do it regularly, and you will get results. Very simple.
Yes, but I read this book this year, I guess. It was maybe not something very new for me, yes, but it was even some kind of inspiration, especially this spring, just to start, just remember how to start in this field, yes, just remember about all these tips and tricks, but still we understand that absolutely maybe sometimes banal things, yes, about how to learn, that we have some different modes, yes, in our brain than other. But maybe if some of other listeners would like to have some kind of inspiration, yes, books, it's a great source as well. And let's talk a little bit about something practical, yes, not about only books. Oksana, could you please give us some practical tips on how to be a lifelong learner? How to start and maybe which steps we should take in this field?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good question. And I was reflecting to myself, a few days prior to the conference, and I just realized that, so I have a few tools, or let's say, maybe also markers for myself, and I can share them. So two like exclamation marks for me, like which is always there on the margins of the day. Yeah. So first of all, I'm trying to stay aware of this so-called third stage of the burnout, of the professional burnout. Yeah, where you're in a trap of like seeing no or having no experts around you. Yeah, like if you're at the stage of your mind that's like you're the best in your field. Yeah, you don't have some authorities, experts around you. Yeah, and you don't want to listen to anyone. Yeah, because you're like the smartest and skilled on planet Earth. So that's really bad. Like it means that you need to stop. Yeah, and you either need to look around or just switch the field you're in. Yeah, or just ask for help from some mentor or coach. And that's one just constant reminder. Yeah, for myself. The other is just to use self-reflection as a great tool of self-analysis, and retro, I would say, which helps you to be, first of all, to be very frank with yourself. As for instance, where you are now with this or that skill, or this or that knowledge or position, how competent you are, whether you are ready to invest to grow in this field, to fix something, to get more knowledge, to ask for help, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So first, do your own retro. Typically, I do it at the end of each year. Yeah. Or sometimes if something like some big events happens. Yeah. So this year probably I took a lot of time in reflection, as probably majority of us. Yeah. But the end of the year is great time just to spend, like take at least one day off on Friday. Yeah, if you have this luxury. Yeah, spend like 2-3 hours just only with yourself. Yeah, thinking about what happened this year. Yeah, what mark would you put to yourself or to this year? Yeah, you've just lived through, and be very honest with this dialogue with yourself. Yeah, internal dialogue.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Oksana. It's so valuable things and thoughts and practical tips. Maybe, Dmytro, could you please share practical tips from your side? Do you have some?
I will extend a bit what Oksana has said in terms of kind of observing, because learning is not just about reading the books. It's about being able to observe. And as Carl Jung once said, everyone that you meet knows something that you don't know, but maybe need to know. So you need to learn from the people around you. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if the person is totally junior. It doesn't matter if the person is coming from a totally different field. Everyone can teach you something if you know how to listen and how to observe. So, for instance, mentorship, right? It's not one-sided thing. You not just share, but you also listen, and you also learn from the mentees all the time. So I think that it's very important for the lifetime learners to surround themselves by people that are willing to grow, that are willing to learn, because this gives you the energy and power to become better and to keep on learning. And I think that SoftServe is the right environment for that.
Yes, totally agree. Totally agree. Thanks for warm words from you, Dmitro. And Vyacheslav, do you have any practical tips as well, except in books, of course?
Yeah, I believe Metro already told the most important secret here. If you want to learn something, just try to teach something. So best way to learn is to try to teach someone of the topic, and you, even if you are sure that you know it, you will understand that you don't know it deep enough, and every time it helps. So participate in some events, conferences, so on, but not just as visitor, but as a speaker. You will have a great motivation to be well prepared, because if you are not prepared, you will not feel right. So engage yourself in the process. Don't do that alone. If you are thinking that you can do learning alone, you most time I believe you will be procrastinating, because you don't have enough of motivation, enough time, enough anything. But if you will engage with someone, if you will promise, if you will have deadlines for that, you will be much more motivated. So that's the secret for for productive learning.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Oksana, we a little bit had some technical issues, yes, with connection with you, but still, we understand that online reality is still lifelong learning experience as well, yes, with all these issues and small moments. So my next question will be for you, and it will be from our chat, from our colleague from Gergana. How do you find motivation to continue to learn? Great question.
How I find motivation? That's a good question. To be frank, I never was looking for the motivation. So again, by definition, the lifelong learning is that it's self motivated. Yeah, meaning that you don't need to look for it. So for me, probably the best external motivator is my environment. Yeah. So when if you're surrounded by people who you can look up to, yeah, from who you can learn, who you admire and respect, so it goes naturally. I mean, you from someone you
Sorry, my apologize for interruption. I guess we have like some small issues with our connection. Yes, a little bit with sound, not very clear. So maybe we need to fix a little bit, yes, to try to understand what we can fix on our side as well, just to try to fix our connection. So we can move on to another speaker, and we hope that very soon we will fix connection with you, Oksana. So please, maybe Vyacheslav, could you pick this question up about motivation as well, while we try to a little bit fix our connection with Oksana?
Yeah. I believe if you have issues with motivation, you need to think seriously what you do you really want, because looking for some additional motivation is not actually correct. It should come from inside of you. And maybe you have so much routine in your life and need just to change something. So just to understand that and do some actions, and as I told you, engage in some process, involve other people, and it will work. But if you don't have motivation to do anything, maybe you need help from some people who do it professionally. So that's the answer here.
Very much, Vyacheslav. And Dmitro, what about your motivation? How do you find it?
Well, I connect inability to learn with aging. And there is such thing which is called neuroplasticity, which is about creating the neural connections in the brain for those who learn, forming the new neural connections and establishing them. And well, actually, if you stop learning, these connections are being destroyed over time. So whoever wants to keep the mind sharp needs to constantly learn. I think there won't be a better motivator than that.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much. So let's try to think about other topic about challenge. Yes, pretty popular word nowadays. We have interesting question about challenge. What challenges can we expect on the way to becoming lifelong learners? And of course, how to overcome these challenges. Metro, maybe you can continue with this topic. Yes, about challenges. We have like some connection with motivation as well. Do you have some challenge in this way? Did you have? Yes, and maybe you had the possibility to fix it.
Well, generically speaking, if we talk not only about laziness, because laziness is something very human, so we can also have some stressful moments, some stressful periods in life when we are focused rather on the routine than on development. There can be a lot of distractions. There can be the environment, the changing environment around us that impacts us. There can be the change in priorities in life. Anything that like similar than that. Sometimes we want just to switch off from everything and just be with ourselves. So I think that it's very important to keep the mindfulness routine because we need to keep the mind sharp. To learn, we need to stay focused. To learn, we need to stop procrastinating. To learn, we need to be sharp, actually. We need to know our priorities. When learning is outside of priorities, we need to look at something else. Maybe, something can be changed or switched. We need to have the goals and targets. So whoever is focused on personal development has the goals and then breaks them down into targets, and he sees when something is lagging, when something needs to be caught up with learning and with self-development. So I think that these are the most important things. And of course, it's about reflecting, as Oksana was speaking about. This is also self-reflection is a very important instrument.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. And Oksana, I hope that all our challenges with connection were fixed as well. So let's talk about challenges, because I had question for our speakers. What challenges can we expect on the way to becoming a lifelong learner? Do you have any thoughts about this? Maybe you had such challenges on your way.
Yeah, can you hear me well now?
Unfortunately, I see, yes, that we have some problems now with connection, a bit with sound.
I have no idea why, to be frank.
Sorry, we have some issues with connection, so maybe we will try to fix it again. Still, our online reality colleagues, yes, so we try to do all our best in this situation, but it's some kind of challenge as well, and it's some kinds of resilience as well that we discussed with our colleague, with Anastasia. So we do all our best, and I encourage our colleagues to continue maybe with another question while we fix, some small challenges on our way. About contributors, because you know that, and you hear our questions from chat, that many SoftServe contributors are listening to us today, and we understand that all our contributors help our colleagues and share knowledge, share expertise, and we have mentors, we have educators, we have trainers, and we've already mentioned this position in our SoftServe University. So could you please give us some advice how SoftServe University can support this lifelong learning culture within our company? What do you think about this? Maybe Vyacheslav, you can share your thoughts about this.
Yeah,
Did you reflect?
I represent SoftServe Academy here, and as you know, it's a secret weapon of our company because SoftServe Academy prepared more developers that actually work in our company right now, and most started here. So it's a great environment for everyone to grow. And if you want to contribute, we accepting people who want to come and share their experience. And even someone thinks he is a very cool senior developer and knows everything, just come to SoftServe Academy and you will understand that you need much to learn. You will need to learn a lot new. So it's good test for you how good you are developer too. So we are accepting such people, and please contribute to our SoftServe Academy, and you will return with much more improved yourself version. So that's it.
Answer. Vyacheslav, thank you for this great example of IT Academy. And Dmitro, what do you think about some tips of advice, yes, for our SoftServe University in this field, how we, as learning development department in our company, can support it?
I think that learning is, as they say, in our DNA in SoftServe, right? So this is one of the things that make us who we are, and you are creating this culture of learning. So I think that no extra advice can be given rather than support and keep on fostering this culture. And yeah, people always need to think outside of the box, outside of the learning, like training materials or training box, let's say, that they receive, but also learn how to analyze information and understand the importance of it. So being strategic in terms of the specific subjects is also important to understand the global scope and to switch from the specific subject learning to the lifelong learning.
Yes, yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for your answer, Dmitro. And I see very interesting question in our chat from Ksenia. So it sounds like this. Which skills should we learn today to prepare for the future? We had something about future. Yes, you shared your thoughts and your personal experiences, but now it's great to understand maybe overall, yes, maybe from your experience, maybe from your observation. Oksana, maybe we will try again, like, true life learning, yes, life learners, lifelong learners who cope with all challenges and, yes, other things. So what do you think about this? Which skills you can recall, yes, what we need to have now to prepare properly for our future?
Okay, let me try. Can you hear me?
Oh, everything is great. Yes. Yes.
So just keep trying. Yeah, the biggest lesson of today is just keep trying, keep pushing.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's actually the great skill to learn as well. So with regards to what we need to learn today to be prepared for future, I would say that this is definitely this ability to embrace the changes, yeah, and openness and flexibility. So it goes in one bundle, yeah. But just the trend which we're observing over the last 3 years, like starting with COVID, yeah. So each year we think that it will be maybe more steady, yeah, it will be more predictable and so on and so forth. But life shows us, fortunately or unfortunately, yeah, that we need to be prepared for everything, yeah. And the more flexible and more open we are, yeah, maybe not positive about those changes, but at least accepting, yeah, the very fact of changing and the need for change, yeah, then we will be much more successful, yeah. Just not to be fixed, yeah, and not to be closed to any of new experience and knowledge we are getting.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much for your experience, for your answer. Vyacheslav, maybe you have some thoughts about skills. Definitely IT Academia, I guess, has some thoughts about future skills. What should we learn now?
Yeah, the skill to learn is the most important skill, actually. So, yeah, you need to learn how to learn. And I already told that it's not that difficult as it seems, but you need to create habit, because people are results of their habits, and you need to have that habit to learn. Basically, it looks like if you spend at least a day without learning something new, so this day was wasted. So that's my very simple advice how to be prepared for future. And then you will learn. And also Dmitro said that with aging, people lose ability to learn. But it looks like you can keep it, and you can keep it for a long time if you are doing learning and working with people of different age in our academy. We see that sometimes people at age 20 plus, they already lost that ability. But people who has like 50 years can have sharp mind and can keep with learning. So that's how it works. You need to learn every day. Make it happen.
Yes, yes. And Dmitro, do you agree with Vyacheslav about habits, like very important part of our lifelong learning experience?
Absolutely, because habits are the only keeping the habits are the only way actually to be disciplined. Without discipline, nothing will work, because it's very easy to roll back to the routine, which doesn't have anything to do with your development. It is focused on the day-to-day things. So I also agree with Oksana that it's very important to adapt to environment. It's very important to accommodate to whatever happens and to keep on going. I'd say that one of the skills that I would add on top is the work with the actual mental well-being, because it's very important to be self-aware, to be able to master the emotions and to understand how to continue growing personally, because this is very important.
Thank you very much, Dmitro. Colleagues, thank you very much for such importance, for most of all valuable discussion. It was very interesting, and I see a lot of thanks in our chat, a lot of insights. Yes, it was really great. So to discuss this topic, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your ideas and kinds of advice for our colleagues, for our listeners. So it was really, it was inspiring discussion, I would say. Thank you very much, and I hope that we will see you in some another panel discussion, because it was really very fruitful.
Thank you for inviting.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for having us here. Thank you, guys.
Everyone, I hope you have been inspired by our guests' experiences and their ideas, and I hope that you are ready to implement lifelong learning experience and approach in your lives. In the meantime, I suggest we take a short break, make tea or coffee, or maybe we will finally use this time to multitask and to reply all our work chat messages. So see you very soon.
Don't you cry.
Welcome back to our conference. A new speaker and a very relevant topic are already waiting for us. Over the past 2 years, we've come to appreciate the possibilities of transferring knowledge from anywhere in the world. And it's no longer surprising when experts gather learners from different countries and even different continents. I guess the main challenge is to coordinate the time zones. So we all feel that education unites people. And I'm wondering from which location you joined us today. Please leave your location in Kahoot, and this link will be waiting for you in our chat. And it would be great to understand which location we have now and how many participants from different locations we have. So please we will reflect, and it would be great results. And today with me here in the studio, Tatiana Ostrovech, PMO Competence Manager, who opened with us very important topic about education and about global communities. Tanya, hi.
Hi.
How are you? How are you mood today?
Good. That's great to be here at this conference. I'm very proud to speak to you guys today, and I hope to share some interesting information.
Nice to hear. We're excited to hear any thoughts and ideas, insights about global communities because it's such an important topic nowadays. So please, could you share some thoughts, your ideas about these moments? Maybe you have some research, I guess.
Let's start then. I have a lot of things I wanted to tell you. So, can you please share my presentation? I'm going to talk to you today about the education and how it affects global communities. I have been working in education for the past 3 years. I am leading project management education at SoftServe, and I'm an agile trainer and agile coach. So I have been doing a lot of thinking recently about how education is growing worldwide and what is happening. We right now become the humanity 2.0, and after a pandemic and all the global events that affect us, we no longer have this luxury to be isolated or to be very, very traditional and conservative in our views for education. So education right now becomes more about values, about culture, about how people communicate. And let's consider some global trends and some recent things happening in this field. So, first of all, I would like to talk to you about the change of the global population that affects education and how it's interconnected. United Nations research figured out that population of Earth is aging, and by 2025, only Africa will be stable in growth of youth. So, the first thing that affects global education is that the global demographics is getting older. So the global response of educators worldwide is to ensure that people from all age groups have access to education. The second one, it's expanding demographics. So the expansion of demographics means that we no longer have this concentration in some education hub and we attract people to come over there. We use other trends that are growing, and I will tell you about them in a couple of minutes, and we use them to expand education to everyone. I honestly believe that education is one of means to make the world a better place throughout spreading knowledge and skills, and people can use those in their professional life, and their level of life will grow and change for the better. So that is how the demographics and educations are connected in the world. The next thing is very important to us because at SoftServe we work in a corporate environment, and we have this response the same as other global corporations, and we use the internationalization strategies in our education, and not only education but in our business as well. So our company allocates budgets for education. We have corporate funds available, and we use that in order to save on retention and attrition of our employees. We allow them retraining, and we make sure that they have needed professional growth, they can change careers. So that is about how corporations affect this global education trends, and we are part of that trend. And I think this trend is for the better, because it also has the third component, it's multi-sector cooperation, and that means that right now teams become cross-functional, not only in IT, but in industry, in the human relations, in healthcare, everywhere basically. So we think that by uniting professionals of different domains, we make sure that they all grow and they interconnect and exchange knowledge. So that becomes very beneficial for them, and this multi-sector cooperation makes it possible to be very successful in our delivery, in our projects, and to make we can make our customers happier by that. So the last but not the least trends that I would like to talk to you about is how technology is interrelated with global education and how it affects communities. So the educational technology, especially in the pandemic time, has grown gradually, and we now have no problems at all connecting to the training people from 10 different countries or even more. I personally lead agile trainings where people from Europe, from Latam, from Asia, they join remotely, and we have interesting and fruitful discussions. And that is very important because people of different cultures and views, they get a chance to have an open dialogue about the same topics. Right now we notice that there is a growth of demand for certain specific skills, and no longer we have that idea that education should be very generic and have some philosophical trends in that, and have some concepts that are outdated and we learn them from books years and years. We only follow modern trends, and we look for most acute demand for specific skills. At SoftServe University we have a lot of courses and trainings for rare directions for most demanded technical and managerial skills. So another thing that we care about is marketing, because people who are looking for continuation of their education and growth in their professional area, they usually do care about the brand and which value this brand can bring. At SoftServe we try to create an educational brand that will guarantee quality and high standard, and that will allow everyone to get a best value deal. So marketing is very important here, and we are proud of how we do that, and of course follow us everywhere and see for yourself how we are doing that, guys. So coming to conclusion of today's conversation, please take a look at this scheme here. That's the network, how it looks when it's communication network, how people interact. So imagine that there is Earth in the middle of that image, and these are basically our students, our employees, and not only our, but from other companies and people that we talk to, and we affect them. While we are learning, we get some new knowledge and skills, and then we go and we talk to our colleagues, customers, and we share this knowledge, and we practice the skills. And then they also work with someone, and they can learn something from us or get some hold on some facts from us, and they will pass it somewhere further. So you have heard probably about the 6 handshakes principle, and that's how we all get connected in the world. So what happens after that, and what's the final effect, how education really affects this world? It is a chain principle. So you only think that you make a small move in the world, you only think that you mean like you've learned not much, and that means not much. But then if you think about that in global terms, that is what happens, the domino effect, not in the negative context, but that you can really touch many people through the light of knowledge. And that is all I wanted to tell you today, and I hope to see you all in our discussion and at our trainings.
Great, so we already see location that you mentioned, yes, because we asked to mention location which you join us. Yes, and it's great because we have not only different cities, we have different countries, yes, Tatiana?
Yeah, Yeah, that's great. That's what I've been talking about, that education is getting more and more global, and I hope next year we'll see more and more countries and all our locations will be there.
Yes, yes, believe. Thank you very much, first of all, for your presentation, because I heard a lot of new things and trends for myself. Yes, really, because it was so interesting to understand how education affects global community. Sometimes we think only about, like, separate countries, separate location,
Yeah.
because still we have a lot of challenge, we have a lot of routine, but just to have this helicopter view and to understand how many different learners, how many different communities we have in this sphere of learning is incredible. I see, Tatiana, that we have some questions in our chat from our audience, and the first question from Irina. Tatiana, how SoftServe professional communities align with its global education goals?
At SoftServe, we have strategies that are targeting to internationalization of our learning and to covering both specific skills that I've been mentioning, very like narrow skill sets, and also providing more complex and generic educational programs. So how we align? We use modern technology. We try to let people be connected remotely on our trainings. We try to engage new locations, new countries. We are scaling to LATAM actively, and that's the strategy for the next year, to engage more and more people from other continents to learn with us. We've had representatives of many European countries come into our trainings, and actually most of them who were from very foreign locations were not our employees, so they joined us and shared their case studies and experiences. So that was how we did that, and we have a lot of surprises for you in the upcoming year, so stay tuned.
Great, great. Awesome to hear it. And we have the next question from Olena. How does SoftServe contribute to global education?
So what we do, we actually get accreditations at international companies like Scaled Agile, .com or IC Agile Corporation. We get accreditation for our instructors to lead those trainings, and we have more and more of such people who are professional trainers. So we provide this education, and we will scale to more Scrum and Agile trainings, and that is only part of what we do that is aligned with global companies. And the other part is that we, as a brand, SoftServe, we produce very interesting and very empowering professional programs, and we engage our employees. We've been engaging our employees so far in them, but we also will share that more outside the company, because we believe in our brand and we think that we are going to be very, very competitive in the upcoming years.
Great, great. And we have one more question from Alena. What is % of external learners in your trainings or programs?
Sorry, what is person?
% of external learners.
Percent, yeah, of course. We actually started with a low % of external learners, but now in the recent trainings, I would say we come almost to 50% at times. And in November, that was the case for Agile Project Delivery Management, and for SAFE trainings, we had quite a few of external learners. However, for internal corporate programs, we don't do external marketing just yet. That might change. So, yeah.
Yeah, so interesting numbers. And Tatiana, when I think about global education, it's really very inspiring topic, and of course it's very modern topic, but I understand that it's about some challenges as well. Can you remember maybe some challenge on this way? Actually, you as educators, I guess maybe you had something, yes, like this.
Yeah. Well, I started working in education in March 2020 when COVID started, so that's pretty much the start with a challenge. I actually didn't have even any trainings before that without a challenging environment around me, so we had to go virtual, we had to go remote right away. And then of course pandemic continued, and we got used to that. So we've created our virtual environments, and we've marketed that. So a lot of external learners joined, and now we have a new challenge. It's our horrible war situation in Ukraine. So that is a new challenge, but we continue. We have contingency in that. We have a lot of risk management in that. The challenge is to continue no matter what, because our students, they want to join us. There is no light, there is no electricity, there is no internet for them. Sometimes they look for places, they join our trainings, and life goes on. We continue education because at any time, in every situation, we all believe that education is the means to make the world a better place.
Yes, I totally agree with you, because we already discussed a bit with Jakub, our previous speaker, about all these challenges in some formats, especially with people who can join, for example, yes, because of electricity, because of some challenges. And it's great that our educators can change their approach, for example, to give some self-study materials or to encourage these people to learn something additionally, yes, and we take care, especially in this term that you observed and you discussed about global education, yes, when people from different countries, different continents understand situation each other, can support each other, yes, and to be patient, yes, to be ready for this situation. It's so great. But it was very great to hear about your experience from 2019, yes, from this quite challenging period. And what do you think, yes, if it was, I don't know, earlier, yes, with our more than less standard education, could be, I don't know, it easier for you, or stay, maybe you are grateful for all these opportunities from online education, this reality, from these challenging times?
Well, I think that pandemic was a big push for humanity to take things into the most technological approaches available. So I'm grateful for this chance to join in the turbulent times and to start working in education full-time. Before that, I was part-time trainer. And I think that without that push, humanity would be held offline in small rooms, being separated physically from each other and doing small isolated trainings and educational events, and going more and more classical and conservative in education. And right now we all went global, and we can join all together. I also want to add one more thing, that I think that even if some horrible and destructive events happen in the world, in countries, well, the pandemic is an example, our war is an example, the war in our country, it's still very important to try to keep education at the highest level, because the thing that suffers the most in case of a crisis is the level of knowledge and the level of skills. And if we don't have proper skills and knowledge among Ukrainian people, for example, right now, then we don't provide better workforce for international corporations. And well, SoftServe is a company that employs a lot of professionals, and we have to have highly skilled professionals. So SoftServe cares about educating these people and providing necessary level of professional skills. So we keep up with this, and we keep up with that for a reason. Only the highly skilled professionals can help attract investments in our country and in our economy. So that is a part of war that we lead. Education is also going to front lines by keeping up but not giving up, and providing the same quality and high standard to people. So that is actually something that we actively think of, that we do every day. So that is actually our share. That is what we can do. We can continue to provide better learning. We can continue learning, because that is the way how we fight too.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for these important words, valuable words, yes, about this moment that educators, they need to keep learning, yes. They need to be flexible even, because they are ambassadors of learning in the company, and they are a bit responsible, yes, for level of development of our colleagues. And I guess if you work with global communities as well, this year maybe you can recall, I don't know, something that connected with global education, what you learned as educator during these challenging times, I don't know, from global communities, maybe from colleagues from different countries. Do you have like this best practices of sharing, you know?
Yeah, I lived in Amsterdam for the past year, and I met there people from different companies, the product companies that are global in social networking situations, and we actually talked a lot about how to shape educational products as products. So I've learned this year most of all about how to approach what we do in a product management manner, in the manner that allows us to be flexible and agile enough, and through that learning, through that education of myself, I now am prepared as a leader of project management education at SoftServe to any challenges, and the team is ready, and we have response strategies to a lot of things. So it's very, very hard to catch us by surprise these days. So that's what we've learned. We've learned to be resilient.
Yes, thank you very much for Tatiana, not only for presentation, yes, for these great trends, some incredible numbers and new insights, but for some ideas, very warm words for all educators in SoftServe University. It was wonderful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys for being with me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you. So, colleagues, very soon we will know the names of our winners. I'm sure that you are just as excited about the results as I am. And before moving on to our award ceremony, I want to thank all our speakers for incredible number of best ideas, practices and insights, and of course you, dear audience, for your questions and for your sincere engagement. Just a few preparation left, and very soon we will come back to our studio and we will know the names of our winners. Stay tuned.
Dear all, it's my big pleasure to be here with you again. And actually, we are starting our, I believe, the most anticipated part of this conference, awarding ceremony of educational contributors in our company. I'm sure you enjoyed a lot all the speeches and all the presentations you heard today. And actually, let us start awarding our trainers, mentors, coaches, of actually those people who really help us to deliver best learning services to our colleagues. I cannot even explain how much we appreciate those people who are busy. They are so busy with their everyday job, but at the same time they find time to cooperate with us, to develop learning content, to deliver learning content, to be mentor, to be supervisor for other colleagues. We, SoftServe University and colleagues who arrange learning function, appreciate it a lot. And actually that's why we have good tradition in our company, in SoftServe University, to congratulate, to let everybody knows who are those top performer in developing other people, in developing our colleagues. So this year we have 9 nominations and we have winner in each nomination. And it's my big pleasure to announce those winners and congratulate them. The first nomination is Best Tech Trainers 2022. You know, we are a technical company. We have lots of technical expertise, and it's very important for us to develop that expertise all the time and to share our experience with other people. And I would like to say big thank you to that person who has developed that many trainings and developed that many people in our company, and from technical standpoint delivered best technical solutions, and the winner is Natalia Dombrovska. Congratulations to Natalia. Next nomination is Best Business Trainer. We understand that besides technical part, we always have soft skills, leadership, and actually like just business skills. And it's very important for us to be successful in all our like parts of requirements, skills, and so on. And actually that person is a big contributor to helping people to be very effective in building great relationship, in building strong communication, in just accepting all the challenges business is giving to us on everyday basis. We are very grateful to that person, and the winner in Best Business Trainer nomination is Tetiana Hrenovecka. Congratulations to Tetiana. Besides, we have many different formats besides trainings, like workshops. Very popular format at SoftServe is individual-oriented learning and mentoring in particular. And I would like to congratulate right now Best Tech Mentor, who help people to find the best personal learning journey, to empower their strong sides and actually to cover the gaps they have. And the best tech mentor in 2022 is Oleg Vasilishin. Our next nomination is Best Business Mentor. It's very important for people to find a personalized approach to developing their skills, finding ways how to cover some gaps, how to become more confident, more strong in what they are doing in the business. And actually, that person helps to find that way. That person gives lots of valuable recommendations and help people just realize their potential in the best way. And our congratulations goes to Best Business Mentor of this year, and the winner is Roman Fenyak. Thank you, Roman. In our company, we provide many learning solutions for existing associates, our colleagues, but at the same time we give chance for those who would like to become a part of our company, for future talents, for newcomers. And we appreciate a lot when delivery representatives, production representatives come to our IT Academy to develop learning solutions for juniors, for future juniors. And I would like to announce who is Future Talents Educator, the best Future Talents Educator this year, the person whose contribution to .NET Competence Group and Practical React course led to significant improvements in talent development in our company and actually gave chance for many people to start their career in IT. And the winner is Natalia Revutska. Very important things in personal development, in professional development, is besides gaining some knowledge, skills, also to get certification, which proves that you are experts, you are professional of appropriate level. And we appreciate a lot contribution from people who cooperate with our certification centers to ensure people can gain that international certification as well as internal certification. I would like to announce the winner in certification contribution champion nomination, and that person really helped a lot to get prepared many people for international certification, and in such way to get strong partnership with different technical companies by SoftServe. And the winner is Yulia Sklyarenko. Dear colleagues, it is difficult to overestimate importance of communication skills. A possibility to sounds very polite way to be able to reach with your message people you are talking to, and moreover to do it in foreign language. That's why our cross-cultural communication center provides many different solutions in cooperations with many stakeholders and contributors in our company. That person who is the winner of language professional of this year, she is a big experimentator of new formats, of new learning solutions. She is very inspiring person who inspires other people to reach even more in their life, in their professional careers. So I would like to announce the winner of language professional nomination, and that person is Yulia Zabolotna. E-learning is very useful and practical and popular format nowadays when we work in remote formats, when we work in hybrid format. And actually, we develop our in-house e-learning, SoftServe e-learning solutions, and we appreciate a lot those people who help us to deliver, to design, to develop really high-quality e-learning solutions, which can be consumed by many people in very suitable for them time and in like that in learning format. The winner of e-learning contributor nomination this year helped a lot to come up with really high quality e-learning solutions, which can be given as a sample and best practice for other solutions in the future. So I would like to say big thank you and congratulate the winner of e-learning contributor nomination, who is Yulia Kuvitanova. Great, and the last nomination for today is Learning Innovator. I cannot imagine successful innovations without learning, and I cannot imagine learning without innovations. It's very important to innovate all the time with methods, with formats, with approaches we apply in our learning function, in opportunities we give our people to use in this company. And that's why we have a Learning Innovator nomination. The winner of this nomination is the person who has lots of bright ideas, and that person is very dedicated to get those ideas realized, and encouraging others to follow, encouraging others to do something new, something extra, to be really best trendsetters in learning services delivery. The specific of that Learning Innovator nomination is also that that person was chosen with voting. All of you, all our company voted who is worth to be winner of that role. And actually, voting process was just finished just several minutes before we started awarding ceremony. And I'm very grateful to that person. And it's my big pleasure to announce the winner in Learning Innovator nomination of this year, who is Anton Voronko. Thank you a lot, all our winners of the nominations. Without your contribution, without your dedication, without your passion about teaching, developing others, nothing could happen in SoftServe University in our company. But actually, those awards, they are targeted not just for those 9 winners, but to all contributors, all educational contributors we have in our company. I don't know whether you know or not, but internal community of trainers, mentors and coaches in our company is more than 1,000, and even more, 1,000 and about 500. Lots of people do their best besides developing software, besides writing code, besides managing projects, making business analysis and so on, find time to develop trainings, courses, provide mentorings, just to help others to grow in our company. Developing learning is really a part of DNA of SoftServe, and we all are very proud about that. So thank you a lot, dear colleagues, for taking part in this conference. We hope you found many things useful for you, interesting for you, and really helpful for you, extending horizon of your understanding how things can happen in learning industry, in learning area. We will be wrapping up our conference. I would like to say also big thank you to our org team. Those guys, those people did a lot to ensure everything went smoothly, everything was good, and everything was very useful and appreciated by all who attended this conference. Thank you a lot, dear colleagues, and looking forward for our next year conference, and let us make this next year to be very bright from perspective of new learning solutions, of innovation in learning functions, and actually just enjoying everything we do for developing our colleagues. Thank you a lot. Bye bye.